All right, what's going on, guys? So, in today's video, you can see the title. It's going to be called "The Past, the Present, and Crypto." And I made this a little presentation for my friends and clients that are asking why crypto, why do you believe in so much? You know, Personally, I had bought my first Bitcoin in about 2016, and it really didn't take me until 2021 to really become a true believer in this asset class, and I'm going to explain why later in this presentation, why it makes sense for crypto and why you should potentially look at it yourself. And there's obviously a lot of money to be made, but more importantly, you have to understand the technology that's behind it. And that's what's driving crypto into being adopted. In 2021, it's not the idea that, hey, everybody knows about Bitcoin. It's more of, in 2021, people knew a lot about NFTs and the utility behind it, and then Bitcoin was just a byproduct of, in order to buy an NFT, you had to have some sort of cryptocurrency. That was a byproduct of it. The utility is what pushed it to be recognized, and I'm gonna explain why, and a little more in this one. So real quick, the past, 50 years ago, we had, gone off the gold standard, right? And then, physically, it's very, gold. Imagine having to carry that around. I cannot imagine carrying around every single piece of gold that I wanted to, potentially trade for an asset, service, or product. It would just take potentially a lot of weight, and then potentially I could lose it, and it could be very valuable for that. So it's also limited. It's not something that we can just print like money. That this is gold. You have to mine for it. You have to get the proper machines. You have to get the actual labor. You have to know the right places where to get it. That it costs a lot of labor, physical labor, and it also costs a lot of machinery, right? Like, you have to get all those together in order to get gold. It is a precious metal that has no utility except for store of value. Warren Buffett, he also agrees in this, that majority of the time people get gold just to hold the value of what they have, and that utility has no sort of utility. And what does that mean? If you go buy a house, you can, with a house, it is a store of value, but you can also rent it out to other people, fix, and then potentially flip it for even more money. Gold, you can't do that. You can't share a percentage. You can't rent it out. No, you just a store of value as is. And then it's also more of a hedge against any market volatility. Specifically, between 1970 and 1979, that's when gold was able to hit its all-time high, because there was a lot of uncertainty inside of the market. And we are, if you're looking, in the next slide, I'll actually show, and I'll actually show it, but between that 1970 and 1979, that's when gold was hitting its highest peak, because there was a lot of uncertainty in the market and people were using it as a store of value. And recently, times today, 2022, 2021, it's also approaching that all-time high, as a store of value. And that's what, gold is. That is the past of how we utilize gold. Today, the present, we go off of the US dollar. That is globally recognized. Now, in December 2019, we had about $4 trillion of supply, circulated. But in January 2020 to December 2021, we have printed an additional $16 trillion. We nearly we 4x'd it, essentially. And you can actually see in this chart right here, this is the total supply of the money. And it specifically went straight up in 2019, 2020, 21. You can see that, it's gone up. The Federal Reserve has actually gone up. So, and why do we print money? We actually print money in order to devalue the debt. But because we are devaluing the debt, we also actually devalue the currency in itself too. So that's why the present, there's something called inflation. And when that happens, is there's so much money that's available in the marketplace. So much money is being printed, the supply has increased, inflation happens. What happens is too much money chasing too few goods or services or assets. So it actually hurts us in the long run, because a lot of people don't have anything that they're putting their money into. So then it can outpace inflation itself. So what does that mean? And real quick, I'm going to show you guys this calculator. I thought it was pretty cool. I found, so It shows you inflation and how it's actually gradually grown throughout the time of basically money starting like in 1913, specifically in the US, right? So in 1913, if I purchased an item for $1, then in 2021, the same item would have costed me $28. So you're having an increase of 2,700%. Now let's just really quick example go off of 2019 because that's when right before the time that we had the whole pandemic and quarantine, and that's when we started kind of printing more money. You can actually see there was an increase of 9.1%. So $1 actually costed 109, which is crazy. And that's just in the 2-year span, right? So we're gonna actually go to 2020, and then in the 1 year, specifically 1 year, we raised inflation had increased by 7.7%, which is also crazy. Going back, that's the present right now. This is where the current dollar is, and because of that, we're printing so much money. Everything in the U.S., everything, goods, products, services, they're actually also increasing in price. And you can actually see it here. Cars, trucks, they've increased 24% since basically for one whole year. September 2021, but 2021, it's increased 24%. Food, homes, lodging. Like, I mean, if you're in real estate, I guarantee like you're selling homes. Real estate agents, they're making a lot of money. It's just the equity and the home price has dramatically increased, and that's because of this inflation right here. Eggs, furniture, all these apples have even increased, right? I don't personally like apples, but for people that love apples, they've gone up 7.8%. And you can actually see right here, like I was saying earlier, the price of a home has dramatically increased based on this right here, this little graph that I was able to get from the SB and Dow. So, and then also another thing too, it's not just the US that had actually printed money, but there was other countries too. They were going through the whole situation, and they had to print more money in order to get back, decrease the value, decrease the debt. So this is what happens, and you can actually see right here all the countries that are going through inflation. US is about 7%, like a little bit earlier when I showed you the calculator. Japan, they barely went through any type of inflation, and you can actually see that it's actually growing and increasing, and Venezuela hitting the hardest of 1,000 percent in basically a year. So, which is crazy. So what can we do to outpace everything that is increasing due to inflation? Inflation is around 7%. What can we do, or where can we put our money so that we're actually growing 7% or more to outpace inflation, so that we can also keep our wealth, essentially protect our money. And I'm going to show you guys this chart real quick. This is based off the asset classes in 2011, and you can actually see Bitcoin, commodities, NASDAQ 100, high yield bonds, cash, gold. All right, you can actually see the price in the long term in the 10 years. So in the past 10 years, you can actually see all the increases of each asset class. Now you can actually see right here, what is this one? Bitcoin being the highest one at, what is that? 115 million, right? 15 million percent since 2011. Annually, every single year is roughly about 197%. And it is essentially outpacing all of these other asset classes. Crazy, right? Crazy. And in the next one, quick scenario, I just want to show you guys. So item A, today, if you buy, and in 105 years, right, if you had, item A, it is worth $1,700. Item B, today, if you buy, and in 11 years, it's worth $43,000. Which one would you rather buy? So I'm gonna give you guys a second. Comment down below, which one would you buy? An item that is worth 43,000 in only 11 years, or an item that is worth 1,700 in 105 years. So if you guys haven't guessed it, just a quick scenario is actually item A is actually gold. This is referencing the graph I showed you guys earlier. The highest, is reached, in this year. The reason I put 1,700 is because that's what it's hovering around right now. But based on all-time highs, if you were to increase something in 150 years and it got you 2,400, that's gold. Bitcoin, since the time it was conceived, since the time it's been out, you can actually see it's actually gone up to 60K. Right now it's at 43K, but where is it? So the scenario again, Bitcoin's been conceived about 11 years now, and currently is that sitting at 43,000. For me personally, it makes more sense to put my money into an asset class or put my money into item B, which is Bitcoin, so that it can actually outpace not only inflation, but it's actually been able to see exponential growth in the last 11 years, bigger than gold itself. So crypto, or better yet, Bitcoin, is the first digital money. So this is where we're talking about today or the future. And I firmly believe that crypto, and this is why, what I'm going to go over right now is why I'm firmly a believer in crypto, because of all the things happening in 2021. So information is, it's the first digital money. There's limited supply, only 21 million can be made. So whenever there is a limited supply, that is how the value of something increases. Unlike the dollar, since we're printing so much of it, the value is actually decreasing because we're just printing it. It is actually, people had used it as a store of value, but it's actually slowly transitioning as a currency. One of the biggest, the one of the first countries to use that as a country is El Salvador. And I really want to show you guys this real quick. I saw this today, and let me refresh. So this is the president of El Salvador. This is his Instagram. Bitcoin is going through, a little bit kickback or drawback, bear market. But what he said, most people go in when the price is up, but the fastest, most profitable moment is to buy when the price is down. Not rocket scientists. So invest a piece of your McDonald's paycheck in Bitcoin. Now go back and flip your burgers, you lazy bleep. That is the president of El Salvador. So he is a firm believer in cryptocurrency, obviously, since he's made it the currency. San Diego State University accepting crypto as a tuition. Colleges, right? Walmart is launching their own cryptocurrency in order to, because they already have a ton of money going through. They might as well become a kind of like a smart contract. PayPal launching their own stablecoin. MicroStrategy holds over 100,000 Bitcoins. These are companies and countries, entities that are actually using cryptocurrency, right? Let's keep going on. Facebook launched Meta for the metaverse. Athletes are receiving their salary in Bitcoin. Klay Thompson, Odell Beckham Jr., just to name a couple that are accepting, their salary in Bitcoin. Tesla is accepting Dogecoin, another form of cryptocurrency. Visa partners with over 60 crypto platforms in order to bring awareness to, allow, Visa to start, accepting those payments. Miami even has their own coin, Miami coin. Pretty dope, right? The whole city has their own coin. Ferrari enters with NFTs. WhatsApp accepts crypto via the app. Fendi and Ledger team up in partnership. I actually just seen something today too. Adidas and Prada, they're actually partnering up to do release some sort of NFT. That's another kind of company utilizing cryptocurrency. Tom Brady partnering with FTX. If you guys don't know Tom Brady, basically he's a GOAT, right? Bet, right? Tom Brady. Next, Disney is making its own metaverse, where you can actually go inside and basically walk through Disneyland itself, Disney World itself. Nike already created their own land within Roblox. They have their basically Nike headquarters in Roblox. Samsung has a store in Decentraland. This is basically where you can go in and start utilizing everything. It's like a regular store in Samsung if you had just gone out, in a physical store. So you get service done, TVs, whatnot. There's a store already there. Brooklyn Nets create Netaverse, where you can actually be right there with the players and see the action, them scoring. You can basically be standing next to Kevin Durant, watching him score a bucket. Crazy. GameStop is building its own NFT marketplace. YouTube is gifting NFTs to subscription milestones. I think the first person to receive it was FaZe Rug. I believe that's his name. he received an NFT for a milestone, right? Bringing adoption to YouTube right there. People are getting married in the metaverse. People are finding love in a virtual world, right? Healthcare is implementing NFTs, right? Like, the biggest thing with this is, like, for me personally, when I was in high school, like, like, I would get data that's 4 years old, you know, like, this person, this group of demographic has, an increased rate of, heart attack or whatever, right? Personally, I'm just, I think, like, that's 4 years ago. What about now? Like, has that dramatically grown up? Like, 4 years is a huge difference, right? So, healthcare being implemented to NFTs, where, you know, all this information is uploaded immediately into the blockchain, so that you can publicly see, and we're able to get real-time data on, potentially people that, are using this sort of medication, and, people are getting, heart attacks at this rate. Those are people implementing NFTs onto the blockchain, so that we can get more updated information. Blockchain technology used with voting, right? How many people want to see who actually won the election, right? Like, blockchain, voting, it's automatically uploaded into the blockchain. That's public. We're actually able to see who actually won and who actually voted for what. Real estate shares are being documented on blockchain and split ownership as NFTs. So imagine, you buy a percentage of a home, and then you get a small kickback depending on the percentage that you own. You get a kickback from that because of NFTs, and it's on a public network, so you can actually see who's earning what, which is pretty dope. Crypto, this technology is starting to be implemented in today's business and people. If you don't know, one of the biggest, markets in the world is the S&P 500, which is the stock market. That's the US market. The S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the US. Now, I'm starting to see, but this is personally where I firmly became had a lot of conviction with cryptos. These businesses are starting to implement the crypto technology, the blockchain, the NFTs. Now, if like, businesses, and people run the world, right? Like, if all these companies are starting to implement it, why would you not, pay attention to that? It's not like the SEC, which regulates everything, would shoot, crypto in the foot, because guess what? Then they would be hurting businesses. They would be hurting people. Businesses are, the lifeline of, the world, right? Like, businesses provide, jobs for people. They provide innovation, growth, all those things. That's where it's important, because businesses are utilizing those things, and they're adopting it to every day. And now the future, why not go along with it and, watch those businesses grow? And that's why I profoundly became a very big person for crypto, because businesses are starting to use it. And all those things that I just mentioned earlier, right? These are just a couple things. There's so many more, but hopefully, you guys took away something from that. And also know there's different sectors within crypto. Crypto is a very broad term, and, there's NFT, metaverse, DeFi, Web3, blockchain. All those things are intertwined with crypto. And that's why I'm a firm believer in crypto. And hopefully, you took away something from this, and, kind of add along to it, because the thing I've learned is, like, once your mind has been expanded by an idea, like, you can't go back to your original form. You can't unlearn this, because now I guarantee you, like, you're gonna start seeing a little bit more. You're gonna be interested. You're gonna, you're gonna look into it more. And I hope you guys do, because this is where the world is heading. And don't get left behind. And I would just tell you guys, get in crypto. So hopefully, you guys took away from that, and, like, and, leave a comment, right? What are you guys looking into? What are you looking most forward into? How is this technology you're seeing already being adopted? Just let me know in the comments, and then hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.